I'm a great believer in reusing anything that is serviceable, in good working order. Why not reuse it? So this tap, which is probably a few years old, here's the finished article, shined up, and finally just putting the hose lock hose connector on. And doesn't that look presentable? So what looked in the first place like a bit of a tatty old tap that it was perhaps by its sell-by date has ended up being a perfectly respectable and usable garden tap. Here is a little job I've been putting off for absolutely ages. It's fixing this outside tap to the wall and then plumbing it in this typical location, the other side of the wall. Here's the pipe poking through, and here is a stop valve that I've had fitted for ages. And so yeah, quite a straightforward job, and so let's get it underway. So here are the tools we're going to need for the job. Some adjustable spanners, 2 for this particular job because we're going to use compression elbows to join up later. Some copper tube, 15mm. I'm going to need a hammer to go with these 6mm red plugs. Here is a 6mm drill bit. I'm going to mark out with this small little drill bit here, or this screw, and using the pencil as well. I've got a tape for doing all my measurings. This is a pair of gland pliers which may come in useful later on. I've got some jointing compound, I've got some PTFE tape, and that's to actually go on these compression fittings. Cordless drill, trusty Makita vacuum, and the blower as well, just in case that's needed to blow the hole through. I've already drilled a hole through the wall, so I think this might be quite a common situation where I've got an old tap ready to go in. It's not a brand new one, but it's perfectly usable, and they come like a one-piece unit, and the 15mm copper tube is brazed or soldered to the end, so there's no need to fix that on. And so basically this is going to fit nicely straight onto the wall. I'm just going to get it straight, and then I'm going to mark up the wall through these 3 holes and fix it to the wall. So first of all, I'm going to mark my holes with a pencil. So each little hole in this back plate gets a good pencil mark. I'm going into render here, so it depends what situation you have. This is render. Obviously other people may have brick or block or whatever masonry or situation you have. So then I'm going to drill the holes. So first of all, let's drill these holes. Just slowly at first, just to get the idea of centering the hole. And once it's underway, this is going into block behind, so that's absolutely fine. Again, start off, just adjust it towards the centre where it needs to go. Gently, I'm going very gently through this render. Again, starting off slowly, building up speed once the hole has started. And there we are, 3 holes drilled. And because this render is very susceptible to staining, I'm just going to hoover out this grey material. And just give this a little blast. Next go the wall plugs. 1, 2 and 3. Tap them home very slightly, and now to fix the tap. So pushing the tap unit through the wall, lining up our holes with the plugs, and these won't be perfect. You're going to have to find the holes with the screws when you put them in, which I'm going to demonstrate in a minute. So in order to find the plugs and the holes in the plugs with the screws when you put them in, I'm just pulling this tap out slightly. These are the only screws that I have to hand, and I think they're okay. They're a sort of a brass colour to match the back plate. So then finding this second hole, as you can see, and then thirdly just introducing these screws hand tight into their holes. Now to tighten the screws, and as you can see, the cordless is okay, but it's going to bang against the side of the tap, and when, see what I mean, it's jumping out of the, I could make this work, but it's going to jump out of the screw a little bit. I think it's far better actually to switch to an ordinary screwdriver, which is a PZ2, and you actually get a much better feel for the job when you use a handheld screwdriver. Let's go through the side of the tap here. Just doing a little bit at a time, making sure that it's sliding back and pulling back nicely and evenly. Obviously you don't want to do one too much more than another. Can you see it's sliding back on these screws very nicely? Let's do this bottom one. Nearly there. And what a lovely feeling as this pulls tight, and the screw's got a lovely hard bite into those plugs, and that's nice. I literally cannot turn that anymore without forcing it. So that's 3 really good fixings. So here is our very typical situation with the pipe sticking through the wall. We're going to cut some copper pipe, cut this pipe at the back here, bring it down and into this lever stop tap here. On goes the nut, on goes the olive, on goes the joint, and then the top just fits in nicely. So we have the bottom one in place, the top one in place, we have this top joint in place, and this bottom one in place. Another little bit of jointing compound, and let's pop that on. And now, can you hear that noise? And that is the noise that tells me that it is tight enough. There we are, not too tight. Creaking noise, which is exactly what we want. A lot of plumbers would absolutely gasp, no doubt, at my plumbing skills, but this is DIY and it's perfectly good enough, because what works works. It doesn't have to be the prettiest job in town. This is in a shed, nobody's going to see it. Does it work? Does water get to the tap? The outside bit, how that looks, is far more important. So let's go and test the tap. Okay, so now for the moment of truth. And there we have it, an outside tap fitted and working, and that is going to be extremely convenient for me watering outside. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed the video and join me on the next DIY video. Finally, just putting the hose lock hose connector on, and doesn't that look presentable?